Kia ora fight fans, Sunday here in Melbourne, just got back from Sydney, was on the mics, the ones and twos, once again with Don Miller for 1774's the 10th edition, and mate, it was just an incredible card. I managed to watch it back late last night. I had a couple of beers with Trevor Lawler and Andrew Parnham, Ibby and Spiros, John Demicoli, and got back to the hotel. It was on such a high from the fights that I got stuck into the main event, the co-main event, and this morning I've just watched the rest of the card back, and just incredible. Well done to Aram and Greeny for just consistently putting on such top tier matchups. As in the 10th edition, it just seems like it gets better and better with each chapter. Every fight yesterday, from the first match between Kenta, Sawa and Fahed, right up to the main event, were just action-packed and very different in their own rights. Excellent stylistic matchups, and I'm really enjoying the New South Wales crowd too. So they turn out in droves. Plenty of people getting around 74 on its own merit. So just coming to support the show and see good Muay Thai, and people from the Muay Thai community abroad as well, like Colonel Tanapol, the WBC Muay Thai president was there in attendance. Tim Fisher, Revolution, it was good to see him. He was over there with the Colonel, and plenty of familiar faces. So it's a brilliant thing to be a part of, and well done to Aram and Greeny, Soraya, and the rest of the team doing a fantastic job. So wanted to ride that high, and while it's fresh in my brain, a couple late nights in a row for me, just kind of get to doing a bit of a recap today, and I think I might start with the main event. So the main event was drama. It was drama from the minute that Kong Thailand's walkout music started. Alice Cooper, he's quite a character, that fella, mate, and as soon as you got into the ring, there was like an energy about him, a vibe about him. He certainly means business. Like, there was no feeling out process as well when the fight started. I think he went through a teep and then went straight to the elbows. It was electric. Lewis Cajaiba, like, he's found his home now in Sydney, and there was a lot of crew turned out to support him. And plus the Phuket Fight Club connection with Leo Elias there, there was a real sense that he was the hometown boy and is the hometown boy there now. And it being a rematch, there was this extra kind of drama and narrative behind it that made it so intriguing. The first round kind of played itself out with Kong Thailand just like being super elusive. Lewis Cajaiba was starting to invest into the low kicks as Kong Thailand was swaying out of the way of anything upstairs. And you felt like that might be how the fight would take shape, materialise, with Kong Thailand kind of sniping from the outside and Lewis chopping away at his legs to try and pin him down. It's quite a small ring at 1774. Maybe try and find him in the later rounds with his hands, but it didn't play out like that at all coming into the second round. Excuse me. I think it was pretty much as soon as the second round started, Kong Thailand stepped in, much like he did at the opening of the first round. So he stepped in from southpaw into orthodox with a left elbow and just got Lewis clean on the jaw. And, mate, it was right in front of us, and it almost looked like he was out before he hit the floor. His head bounced off the canvas and almost woke him back up. I'm so surprised that he was able to answer that call for a start. Look, at the way that New South Wales and Victoria do the 8 counts, quite different. In Victoria, you have to answer the call. The referee will then get you to perform some side steps. That's not how things are done in New South Wales. I'm not sure in Victoria if Lewis would have had the wherewithal or the ability to make that side step. But in it's a world title fight, and like a world class competitor, and it's so tough. And like Trevor Lawler in that moment made the call, and it turned out to be the right call because Lewis Cajaiba came back throwing some huge right, powerful kicks and still had some power in his punches, but there was some really big moments in the second round where Kong Thailand was able to do more damage to that face. He cut him underneath the eye. The nose was absolute mess, man. Like big cut across the bridge, smash right across his face, and there was some like real wear and tear internally. You'd feel in the second, in between the second. So he made it to the bell in between the second and third. They managed to stop the bleeding, and Kong Thailand was trying to wave it off. Throughout. Oh, that's right. In the second, Trev sent him to the doctor pretty soon after the knockdown, and the doctor was happy for it to keep going ahead. So I'm told that he's like he's not just your kind of GP, you know, just they get him, pay him $200, and he falls asleep at the table like that Sri Lankan bloke getting around in Melbourne. Like he's the real deal. So he gave it the go ahead, but then after the break in between the second and third, Trev sent him back to the doctor. You see, Kong Thailand didn't want to hurt him anymore. He was like trying to wave it off, and you felt like it was only a matter of time, and it was. Cajaiba just showed so much heart, kept trying to fight on, but there was Kong Thailand, I believe he landed a left hook and knee to the body and another elbow, and that you could see like it was just Cajaiba, like his soul was gone like from the fight, and Trevor Lawler quite rightly saw the change in his posture and stepped in. So I thought Trevor Lawler did an excellent job of officiating that, a world title fight. I'm so glad that he was in charge of it. He cares so much about the sport. He cares so much about the fighters that he's the perfect person to do it. Like that balance of really caring about the sport, recognizing the importance of the occasion, and also the fighter welfare. So well done to Trevor. He's certainly the man. And we, you know, I hope that Cajaiba takes some time now to rest up. I saw him up in the back room, and he took a bit of a hammer, and so you know, I think that will take a while to get back on the mats. But he's incredible to watch. I love watching Lewis fight, and I'm sure, given that fact that he's living in Australia, we'll get to see him firsthand once more. And Kong Thailand at 70 kgs, now world champion. But there is no one in Australia, and for me that can hang with him. I think Donnie Miller said it, like he'd even beat the shit out of most 75 kgs, you know, like he's that good. So I'm excited now that he is taking up residence in Australia, and he's up there in Calsock with Coach Yo and the team, and Jordan Godfinson, and you know, I hope that world title defence comes to the shores of Australia, and that I'm a metre away from it with a microphone in my hand, because he's incredibly exciting to watch. Really unique style, old school style, and Kong Thailand, he's the fucking man. Awesome. So let's talk about the next fight. So the co-main event, yeah, interesting. Co-main event was an incredible matchup once more, stylistically intriguing. The stadium style of Jalill Bulkiel Barnes, the Green Lotus, who's been mixing it up with the best over in Thailand over 5 rounds. He took on Josh McCulloch, the Aladdin, who I kept saying last night is from Toowoomba. He's not from Toowoomba, he's from Tamworth, but you know, Matt Willie, yeah, sometimes the brain gets a bit silly, you know. So I wrote to him this one, I was like, bro, I recognise they're completely different places. I don't want Tamworth coming after me with fucking lassos and spurs on their boots, pieces of hay out their mouth and firing shotgun shells at my house. But Josh McCulloch's a real problem. Like he just like I think we said last night, I think that was his 10th fight, I believe, and he just seems to get better, not just in between fights but during fights. Like he downloads data and improves, and we saw him doing that with Jalill last night. Straight away went to work and damaged Jalill's leg in the first round. 100% he damaged that leg in the first round, and I think Jalill was kind of caught off guarded a little bit by the intensity of the start. And if you've been fighting 5-rounders in Thailand, coming over here into a 10-point must scoring system and taking on Josh McCulloch on his own show, that's it's a big adjustment to make. Jalill exposed him in the first round, I felt, in the clinch, and me and Don thought, oh, you know what, this is like a place that Jalill can really exploit. But Josh adapted really well. He started getting, as the fight wore on, he got really good controls on the inside of the bicep with his left hand. He'd frame across the face, and he's always had this good ability of sense of balance and turning guys. And he did that well with Jalill last night, I felt. Look, the story of the fight was really interesting. I watched it back today and have a slightly different opinion than the one I had in the moment last night. But essentially, it was Josh McCulloch who had the more significant damaging strikes, particularly to the leg. There was a lot of damage to Borkow's leg, even things like catching the leg and kind of those trick techniques like catching the leg and elbowing it and then the hamstring and stuff, like they're good optics. Borkow right throughout the fight did a good job of consistently scoring with his kicks. Because of the damaged leg and the fact that he was often kicking off the ropes, there was like a discrepancy in the power. It was like, for me, when I watched it back this morning, I still felt that you can make a case either way. So you can make a case for 3 rounds to Josh based on the damage to the legs in particularly, or you can make a case for 3 rounds to 2 to Borkow for the body work. There was probably more volume the way of Borkow, but more power the way of Josh McCulloch. So, look, either way, you can make a case for each, and regardless of that fact, it was an absolutely incredible fight. Borkow's got a ton of experience, and he's taken on all comers, and he's a lovely guy, man. I spoke to him out the back, just a really nice human being. Had some nice words to say to Josh, and it was awesome to see him get his bickies, get the green and gold. I'm sure that would mean a lot to him, and he's right up the top of the world rankings now, and that will put the international title's a good ticket towards a world title. So well done to Borkow. Hopefully we see him back on our shores here. I'd love to see him versus a guy like, like Abou, Saleh. 59 kg is a really hot division, both domestically, with some real good up-and-comers and some guys at the top, and then internationally. But I'd love to see him versus more of a, kind of stadium-style player, a female. I reckon him versus Ibi would be amazing. Both guys have been fighting a little bit overseas at the moment. I'm not sure if Jalill's too interested in the 3-round stuff anymore, but that'd be a cool fight. Josh McCulloch, man, like, props to that dude. Got a split decision international WBC title fight after only 9 fights, that last night being his 10th. Like, big things in the future for that and for him, man. And he's just been fighting like really experienced veterans. I'd love to see him versus like a Brandon Spain or something, but I don't know how that's going to work out. Maybe they can meet in the desert or in Victoria. Who knows? Awesome. That was a sick fight. All right, let me have a little squiz at the run sheet from yesterday, because I've forgotten who was before that. I need the coffee this morning. A little bit dusty. Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah, of course. Ibi versus Orono. Awesome to see Ibi back in Australia, man. Like, especially in Sydney. He's such a cool dude, and he's been making his way overseas and just fighting some really, really top tier guys, and showing that he's right up there on their level. What that's meant, though, is that we haven't had him in our own backyard, and last night was an excellent return against Orono, who I actually thought he was older than he is. I think he's 35, but he's just been around forever, it seems, and he's still in really good neck, and is hungry. Like, he maybe he's just scared of his, wife or one of the two, but he's really powerful. So he's sits in a stature. Billy Badass Muay Thai does a good job of keeping him in shape. So well done to Billy. It was good to see him last night too, and he always comes to fight. Does Orono, real powerful right hand as well. Ibi did an excellent job of banking the first 3 rounds, although I thought the second was close because Orono buzzed him a couple of times with some big punches, and then just playing quite a not a risk adverse game, but he took risks when he felt comfortable that Orono was starting to give up the fight a little bit. So Orono will come in, throw a big right hand, and Ibi's always been so good at just slipping outside of the right hand up against the ropes, turning his man and locking it off, or angling off and kicking them in the back or the back of the neck. And he did that a couple of times. You saw Orono tangled up in the ropes and Ibi went to the back of the head. So just really high class, technical IQ fighting. And well done to Andy PTJ and Ibi and the team. It was an excellent win, and showed that he's keen to entertain too. Like, he was so far ahead coming to the 5th, but he was still looking for like some flying elbows and that jumping knee and stuff. So yeah, props to him. Got to catch up with Ibi and his fiance and his mate Adam afterwards, and had a beer. So he's a really cool cat, and an impressive haircut to boot. So well done to Ibi. 59 kgs, like I said. It's a hot division, man. It's a hot division in Australia. It's that super featherweight. The next one was a battle of the up-and-comer, the future, and Dre Stolder. I think in the intro I kept calling him Brody Stolder. Man, look, anytime that Don Miller sits next to you and there's like a silver hip flask, you know that it's like really good whiskey. And maybe I shouldn't drink during the middle of the show because I keep calling him Brody Stolder, which is his dad. My bad. And he took on Enrico Leasa, who is a veteran, although he's only 29 years old, but he's just been around for ages and he fights like a Thai. He's got such a beautiful style. I thought last night was the best I've seen Enrico Leasa look. Rung Chai and the team were over next to us in the commentary booth, and Enrico was just executing perfectly. Like, he may as well have been hooked up to a PlayStation remote. Really smart fight. Great use of angles and the counter kicking game, sometimes on the 3rd phase. And Dre, man, I'm not sure if it was or not, but I feel that might have been his first 5-rounder, which I think might have been the difference, because there was like times, like when the fight first started, he had he was loading up on some of the punches and kicks a little bit too much, and we thought, he probably needs to dial back the intensity a little bit, but we think he might have gone a little bit too far back the other way and been a bit conservative, because he was kicking so well on the second rhythm. Chung Wat Song, he would slide back, throw the left kick, and he was scoring almost at will with that versus Enrico, but he kind of, he wasn't creating enough problems maybe. I'd love to see him use the jab a little bit more, because just to control that space if he's playing off the back foot, because it allowed Enrico to close the space. And when he got there, Dre played just a very high guard, and Enrico wasn't worried about anything coming back, so no long left knee or anything, and Enrico started to chip away at that with some elbows, and I think that was the difference. It was a very close fight. Massive props to Dre, massive future, only 18 years old. There's those guys out at Stolder. I'd love to visit there next time up in the Sunshine Coast. And Don tells me good things. He's got a lot of juniors up there, and a family gym. And Dre's got beautiful style. We saw him on Roots versus Max. So yeah, really looking forward to see what happens there again. 59 kgs, like, you got Enrico. He's like getting, I know he's had a couple of losses versus up-and-comers, but if he fights like he did last night, he's right up there with the top guys in the country. Just needs to find some consistency in that, and I'm sure there's big things for Enrico around the corner. Super featherweight heading up. How was Josh King last night? Stepping up. So he stepped up. So that was at 60. I think that was at 67. And I'm pretty sure I've seen Josh King fight at 63.5. So I'm pretty sure I've seen him fight at 63.5. So definitely seen him fight at 65. So if that's the case, stepping up a couple weight classes and just came out. He's only 18 as well, Josh King, by the way. He just came out and just put it on Deren Chen from the start. And Deren's usually so sound defensively, but was really kind of put to task by Josh King, who just crashed into him like a runaway train. And he's got massive punches and a beautiful Thai style kicking game. Josh King ended up getting the TKO finish in that fight. So well done to Josh King, mate. Just goes on from strength to strength. We those boys know that we love watching them. King's Muay Thai's in Miami. I tried to get up there to train last time I was up there because it's a small little community gym. They've got Collier and Josh King's dad, Jason, who's a great guy. So impressive, man. The big things for Josh King because he just keeps stepping up to the plate. But he just seems like he's fighting every weekend. The last one I called, I'm pretty sure was Palanchok's retirement fight, I believe. I might have that wrong. I was saying that Josh McCulloch was from Toowoomba, so there you go. Wanchaloem took on Big Nuts Buddy. He should be called Big Nuts Buddy Hanlon because he took it on 4 days' notice. There's Wanchaloem, former Channel 7 stadium champion, I believe, from like 10 years ago, but who's still in great nick and just got to Australia. Buddy Hanlon, the Prince of Pattaya, they call him. He's such a legend, bro. I spoke to him out the back before the fight because he took it on like 4 days' notice or something. Like, I believe it was Nathan Jones. He was supposed to take that, but he had like an infection in his arm. Super unfortunate, mate. Those two will fight, no doubt, in that big grass fight. Nathan Jones Jr. and Wanchaloem. I saw Nathan there, so he was enjoying the action from the other side of the ropes for once. Seems like fights on every 70, 74. So he was there with his beautiful partner enjoying the show. Big Nuts Buddy Hanlon stepped on a 4 days' notice, works as a disability support worker, formerly a youth worker, just a really good, solid guy and like a good attitude towards Muay Thai. He got a beautiful switch kick. Like he got the switch kick up on Wanchaloem quite a few times and then a couple of leg kicks, but there's a real difference in power, obviously, and ring time. And Wanchaloem kind of found his mark, especially with the leg kicks, and then quite respectively kind of let Buddy off the hook a little bit in the third round. So some veteran stuff, but showed a good heart too. Well done to Buddy, mate. Like having a fight like that against an absolute veteran, and coming out with just a sore leg. That's pretty awesome. He'll learn heaps from that, and just another cool chapter add to his story. I'm going to whip through the last couple. Because I want to go and watch the UFC and it's the main event starting now. So, Corban Harvey, the big, powerful Queenslander from Top Gun, she fought Grace Allison. The start of this fight was great. So right from the get-go, I think, was it Soraya refereeing? Yeah, it was. She's a great referee. So I'm pretty sure from the opening bell, we had like about a minute and 40 seconds of clinch. Like just the continuous clinch, and they almost went 360 degrees around the rope. It was sick. And Grace Allison's super strong, and she certainly held her own in that minute and kind of 45 seconds, but over time Corban started to wear her down, started to get the inside position more and more often, and when she got there she did a great job of putting her like dead weight on the neck of Grace and landed some good knees. Grace had big moments too, particularly with the punches, but you can see she noticeably fatigued throughout the fight, carrying Corban and continually trying to play and find power from the back foot. That was a really good fight. Corban Harvey at 56 kgs is a bit of a problem. And Grace Allison, she's kind of fighting everyone. Had that. She's fought two more kind of Muay Thai style girls now. I'd like to see her fight someone with a more similar style. Who's keen to stand there and punch on with her a little bit. She fought Nong B for a close loss in the state title, I believe. Before that one, she's cool chick, man, fighting out of Dynamis. Didn't see her husband in the corner last night, actually, so I'm not sure where he was. Can't remember who was in the corner, but Dynamis team, I love watching them perform. Really nice people as well to boot, which is important. Corban Harvey's coaches from Ground Zero, Maverick and Goose, Kiwi fella, I had lunch with them and Pinky, and they're really cool as well. So yeah, props to those guys. The fight before that was an absolute bloodbath. It was awesome to see Kayla Nassis get back in the win column. She's always had like a really nice style. Obviously did a lot of her learning up in Chiang Mai. Fought on the Super Champ, I think, which is in Bangkok, in the shitty old mall there. But she, I think like her style's been so nice, but she's for me to look at, she's kind of lacked the intensity, and last night she brought it. Like, she was a bad bitch last night. She put a little bit extra tzatziki on everything, and her elbows were like mean, which is really cool to see. She took on Helen Stiles, who's tough and looked real strong last night, and despite having a massive cut, she kept coming forward, had some big moments of her own as well. Philip Lai is doing really good things out there at Australian Combat Sports Academy. He's doing really good things. His fighters continue to impress me. They've got a really nice style. I know he's like a real student of the game. Goes over to Thailand a lot. He's learning the language. Heavily involved with Muay Vic. They've just brought over a trainer from Revolution. Philip Lai doing great things. Helen style looks excellent. She's had a couple losses on the row now, but I don't know, like her last night, I could still see improvements. Like I said, her posture looked much more refined. She looked nice and balanced. She certainly looks like she's put on, like her composition looked really good for Muay Thai. So she's going to have some big wins and just needs to keep on moving forward. She was a sore girl, saw her at the airport this morning. And needed a few stitches, but that was a bloodbath and a really good fight. And you only get better from a fight like that, I think. The first fight was mental, so excuse me. Let's have a coffee. Called that one with Sai Naji, Kenta Sawa versus Fahed Haidar. I think I called him a couple other things. Fuck, I'm so bad with names. Jeepers creepers. I used to write with a crown until I was like 16, so I'm a bit retarded when it comes to spelling and reading. I think I need to start spelling them out phonetically. So if I ever read your name out wrong, fight me, or I'll just accept my humble apologies. I promise I'll do a better job next time. Fahed Haidar. I grew up in a Polynesian neighborhood. There wasn't a lot of Middle Eastern guys around. Kenta Sawa, a man whose name I never have any issues with. And Fahed was an incredible fight. Fahed looked the best I've ever seen him, hands down. So technical, timing was excellent. Played a really smart game, especially with the knees. And the little trips as Kenta stepped forward. Kenta is live by the sword, die by the sword kind of fella, and brought it right to the final bell. Was cut early in the fight. It was super close coming in the last round. Felt it couldn't have gone either way. I was leaning more towards the Fightworks boy. Fahed Haidar was end up in a split decision. The way the blue corner, which is Fahed Haidar from Fightworks. So I love that they were at the start of the card too. I thought that was smart from 1774 to put them there. I think there's only. It's an important role, and I think promoters neglect it sometimes. That the first fight, especially 1774 and Rebellion and stuff, where the crowd turns up early, they turn up for the show. Like you want to give that some thought. You want to start the energy off in the right direction, and those two certainly brought it, little midget. So next time, RM tells me that they're going to fire Kenta out of a cannon into the crowd, and whoever catches him can keep him. So that was the 10th edition, folks. I hope you Enjoyed the coverage. I've heard there's a couple of issues with the stream, but you can watch the buffer back today, the buffered version. We really enjoy bringing it to you. It's a pleasure to be part of that up in New South Wales, especially with me mate Don. It's always a good laugh, and appreciate the kind feedback that we received last night over our Instagram channels and stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the recap, folks. I will see you guys next time I'm looking at you.